What's up, everyone? How you guys doing today? I'm going to have a few videos coming out today, but I wanted to lead off with this story. Everyone's talking about Afghanistan, rightfully so, because it's a huge debacle as the administration is just playing it off like it's no big deal. God. It's very typical of politicians, regardless of the party. But right now, it's mainly on the Democratic side to really just throw away obvious issues and pretend like there's nothing. Hey, if it doesn't affect me and my trips to Martha's Vineyard and my elite club status at my sailing club, then who cares? Out of mind, out of sight. That's pretty much where our politicians are at these days anyways. They're such an elite class of citizens. They get into politics broke, and then they leave multimillionaires. They're writing books, speeches, and what other means necessary in order to fulfill their position. And that's where we're at as a society. That's where our politicians are at, because the real politicians that, actually care about the average human citizen, care about you and me, is looking out for the average person, no longer exists. And those people will get smashed out and pushed out by the media and also other politicians because that makes them look bad. You can't have these outstanding politicians anymore that actually care about the American people over anybody else. You can't have them anymore because those people are racist. Those people are homophobic. Those people are whatever word you want to use of the day that gets people triggered and makes people lose their minds. That is our politics right now, is to push the status quo and continue to outspend and push these wars. And if things are going bad, well, we're just not going to talk to the press anymore because I guess the press is no longer on our side either. And we're just going to smush people out. As Biden goes to his press conference, it's funny that he never addresses the American public at night. You would think this would be an issue, maybe to have a formal address and allow people to get off work, people with 9-to-5 jobs, unlike myself, allow people to get off work and see what's going on. People with families, people that can sit down and hear from the president himself. But no, he does press conferences that constantly get pushed back, and he constantly has to move around his time. And then when he finishes, he doesn't take questions. And if he does take questions, he has a list of names he reads off, because that's what we're all about. We're all about transparency in today's culture. We're about transparency and just pushing things. Hey, good vibes only. I don't want to talk about these negative things coming down the pipe. I don't want to discuss this issue because it makes me feel uncomfortable, and I want to be comfortable in this life, so I'll take the vaccine, I'll wear my mask, I don't care, whatever. I want to be as comfortable as possible, because that's more important than actually helping people in need and, maybe realizing what's going on in a country is not a good thing. That's why all these politicians in like California and Chicago and stuff like that, areas in the region like that, they don't actually address the issues that need to be talked about in their cities, like Chicago, murder rates, and, they'll blame guns instead of actually going after the gangs and, ramping up police, or California with their insane homeless population that is controlling their beaches, and just drug infestation and mental illness. And it's incredibly sad. And they just don't even care. They don't care about these humans. They push the issue along because they're in their multi-million mansions and their gated communities and their elite club status. As you're not allowed to go to restaurants, but they're allowed to go to restaurants unmasked, and they have their exclusive events like Nancy Pelosi and in the wine regions of California, Napa Valley, they have their exclusive event, but you're not allowed to do it. But Obama is just this down-to-earth guy. Yeah, he bombed a lot of places and continued the war and all this other stuff. But, he also had a birthday party he needed to go to because he cares about COVID, and he cares about you and me, and he needs to have his birthday with his elite people and celebrities all coming out, because it's all good vibes only, while you are currently experiencing inflation. You're seeing American citizens held hostage essentially in Afghanistan as they are, they're chopped liver. We're just okay with American citizens being stuck there. I get, my heart goes out to Afghan refugees, but the fact that we aren't getting every American out immediately and not pushing that agenda and saying we will do whatever means necessary in order to have our American citizens back home, because they're our citizens. We have an administration right now and a global politician, if you will, that cares more about immigrants and refugees than they care about their own citizens. But everything they do is clear. They don't care. The only thing they care about is staying in power and having a good social credit score, a good social message that whatever makes them look good. They don't want to have bad press. That's why Biden's not talking to people. There's no bad press, just good vibes only. Just let me eat my ice cream and enjoy my time. And I want to go on late night TV shows, and I want to go on SNL, and I want to have a great day. I don't want to actually involve and get into the gritty details of things like, a debt ceiling and stuff like that. I don't want to talk about our expenditures and inflation and is OnlyFans allowing porn again? Oh, okay, we're back to status quo. Let's talk about that. But, like our politics, and they just prey on the low information voters. They prey on people to not know what's going on, not pay attention. The Democrats are good people. The Republicans are evil, racist human beings. How could you be one of those? I see people on Twitter. I had to stop talking to my son because he's not taking the vaccine. He's a Trump supporter, and I can't talk to him anymore. And that's our culture. Let's not engage in debate. Let's not have conversation with one another. Let's not learn from each other. Let's not grow together as society. Let's just have good vibes only, bro. What's your deal? What is your deal? As the new New York governor adds 12,000 deaths to publicized COVID tally. People have been saying this since the start, that Cuomo misrepresented the numbers, especially with nursing home deaths, to make him look better, as he just lost his Emmy. No. And my thing was always, the sexual allegations are disgusting and evil, but this is equally as evil as what he did to the old folks and essentially killing them, because they're the party about science. We're all about the science, not just science, not getting down to the root of things and learning scientific facts and pushing the agenda and trying new medications. And we're the party of the science. Kathy Hochul said, "The public deserves a clear and honest picture of what's happening and whether it's good or bad. They need to know the truth. And that's how we restore confidence." Yes, Kathy, that is how you do it. You restore confidence in the American people to trust you by allowing freedom of information. This is one of the stupidest and easiest things that politicians refuse to do. Let the American people decide whether it's good or bad, but just give us the facts. I'm tired. I'm sick of listening to politicians just lie, constantly lie. Like Jen Psaki one day was like, you know what? They're American citizens aren't stranded. The next day, hey, if we don't get everyone, I'm sorry. What's the number of the American citizens actually there, and how much in comparison on all these flights we've done, what's the ratio of American citizen to Afghan refugee? What's our ratio? Or do we even care about our American? All this stuff is not being discussed and not being put out there for information for you to see what's going on purpose. It's the need to know basis. You don't need to know about what's going on in Afghanistan. You don't need to know about the actual COVID death counts and whether something was recorded as a COVID death when maybe It was could have been recorded as something. You don't need to know these things. You don't need to know. You're dumb. You're the public. Just shut up. Listen to what we have to say, because we are the ones in power, and you have no power here. In fact, you try to protest, we're going to cut it down. You want to speak up, you want to run for council, we're going to make it to where you don't win. We're going to do whatever it takes. Oh, you want to run for California governor? You're a black man that was raised in Crenshaw, and you're in California, and your name's Larry Elder. We're going to paint you as a white supremacist. This political elite ruling class, these people in charge, these journalists, these quote-unquote educated folk, are so deeply entrenched in dogma that they can't. If I was to show them an apple, they would say, no, that is an orange. You are wrong. You don't know anything about the science. In the first update of the outbreak of Tuesday evening, Hochul's office reported that nearly 55,400 people have died of coronavirus in New York based on the death certificates data submitted. That's up from 43,400 that Cuomo reported on Monday. The higher number is entirely new. The federal health officials and some academic institutions tracking COVID-19 deaths in the United States have been using the higher tally for many months because of the known gaps of data Cuomo had been choosing to publicize. That's right. He chose to publicize some information. The Associated Press first reported in July on the large discrepancy between the figures publicized by the Cuomo administration and the numbers the state was reporting to the CDC. The count used by Cuomo in his news media briefings and the state's COVID-19 facility tracker included only laboratory-confirmed COVID-19 deaths reported through a state system that collected data from hospitals, nursing homes, and adult care facilities. That meant the tally excluded people who died at home, in hospice, in prisons, and or state-run homes with people with disabilities. It excluded people who probably died from COVID-19 but never got a positive test to confirm the diagnosis. So did Cuomo do a great job? No, he didn't do a great job. He did a terrible job. But this is all because of the sexual harassment scandal that things are coming out. Once the media, once other politicians finally realize that you are no service to them, you can no longer continue down the road or follow the narrative as such. They shut you down. And then they'll publicize whatever things. But of course, this data come out on, during the Afghanistan crisis, and that's all the media are talking about. That's why I wanted to talk about something else, because literally everyone's talking about Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a terrible debacle, but there are other things going on in the news right now that people are just not even paying attention. It's almost like the media know that, and they're just like, we're just going to talk about the Afghanistan, the easy thing. We're not also going to include some other things that should have huge implications, especially COVID. As Delta Airlines just put out, right here. Sorry. Delta Airlines to add monthly health insurance charge for unvaccinated workers of $200. Delta Airlines will impose a monthly $200 surcharge on unvaccinated employees enrolled in the company's healthcare plan. CEO Ed Bastian announced in a memo Wednesday, because he's all about his workers and employees and their safety standards. Axios says why it matters. The move that Delta makes is the first major U.S. company to impose a monetary penalty. Not only do you can keep working here, but we're going to fine you. We're going to take money we give you and give it back to ourselves. It's almost like you would think that maybe they want a bunch of unvaccinated people working for them. To impose a monetary penalty on workers who choose to remain unvaccinated. $200 a month. Do you think that affects a stewardess, a flight attendant, somebody checking in your bags? Do you think that affects them in their pockets? Yes. These people don't get paid that much. They're not like, the CEO of Delta Airlines, $200 a month? Whatever. $200 is a lot of money, especially in times of inflation. Yay. I'm really loving what these people are doing for their people. Driving the news, while 75% of Delta employees are vaccinated, 75% of people that work for them are vaccinated. It's not enough. We need 100. The move is intended to increase vaccination amid heightened concerns of very aggressive Delta variant. I love these people that are like, we're all about the science. And I'm not a scientist. I'm just the CEO of Delta Airlines. And I just want you to know the Delta variant is very aggressive. Oh, how do you know that? Because the media tells me so. Beginning September 12th. God, the day after the anniversary of September 11th. They're like, I guess we can't do a September 11th. That's just a bad look. We're going to go September 12th. God, this is just... Unvaccinated employees will be required to take weekly COVID-19 tests as long as case rates remain high. Starting September 30th, COVID pay protection will only provide to fully vaccinated individuals who are experiencing breakthrough infection. That's right. You will only be protected if you are vaccinated and you experience breakthrough infection. As we're seeing doctors host a stand out and they have their little press conference and they're begging people, and I see more and more people online saying things like the unvaccinated people shouldn't be taking up beds in our ICU. What kind of stupid, idiotic statements are those? And I see more and more of my friends doing that. It makes absolutely no sense. You have to be an idiot to understand logic where it goes. Because the whole point is these people and their mindset are, these people are willingly not taking the vaccine, therefore they don't deserve a bed. So what about the people that are willingly way overweight and they continue to have heart disease? Do they deserve a bed? What about the people that are willingly overweight and never go for a walk ever in their life? Do they deserve a bed? What about addicts who choose to continue to be an addict who end up in ICUs all the time? I have family members working in ICU right now, and they are full of addicts who OD. Do they deserve to continue to be? They're taking up beds. What about people who try to commit suicide? Do those people deserve beds? What if you're a firefighter? What if somebody is an arsonist? Does that fire deserve to be taken out? Because that arsonist did it on purpose. What about mentally ill? Do those people deserve to go in the ERs? Fill up ERs? Do you see where the logic goes? You're an idiot if you think this is a good idea to brand someone as the other and saying one person deserves this or another. If you're in healthcare, you're supposed to have a thing called empathy. Where with empathy, you engage in someone in the suffering. And you're with them and you help them regardless of what's going on. You help them regardless of their actions. You help them regardless of their decisions in life. Because why? Because you are a caring individual. If we go down the road of just helping people that act a certain way and don't help the other people, we're no longer a loving society. And I am at the point where I feel like that's where we're going. We're no longer loving, caring, because we're walking further and further away from our Christian values, our God-centric country. We're walking further and further along from, loving your neighbor as yourself. You're laying your life down for another. That's no longer love. The love now is just doing whatever anyone tells you to do, especially if the media tells you, hey, take the vaccine, and if you don't take the vaccine, you're cast as the other. Even if you've already had COVID, you have antibodies, you're young. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, or you just don't want to. That's on you. It's the same people. The same people. And people know that. People that are unvaccinated. They know if they get COVID, it's on them at this point. To say otherwise would be silly. It's the same reason as people should know if you are morbidly obese, you don't exercise whatsoever, you are going to end up in the hospital earlier than most people. You should know that. If you don't know that, it's because people have been lying to you and you're reading the wrong stuff. If you have an incredible comorbidity, you need to get that out. And we have like this weird political stance where we're all about body positivity. Whatever I tell you I am, you have to just believe. Like, you have to just follow in line. But then if you have a different, if you're like, I just don't want to be vaccinated, that's all of a sudden, it's no longer my body, my choice. It's no longer your choice. You need to fall in line. But these other people are allowed to have their choices on things and impose their will on you and make you say whatever they say. You're not allowed to have logic anymore. That's white supremacy, and that needs to be taken out. Bastian said, while we are grateful for the progress we've made, the most recent virus variants make it clear that more work remains ahead. He said, I know some of you may be wait and see approach for waiting for the FDA approval. With this week's announcement, the FDA has granted full approval for the Pfizer vaccine. The time for you to get vaccinated is now. So your CEOs are now your doctor. What if your doctor tells you, you know what? I don't know if you should get the vaccine because of this, this, and this, because of your health conditions. That means you need to continue to work and pay the $200 because Dr. CEO told you to get it instead. COVID vaccine passports, the mandates, it's just all, and especially the word crisis or emergency powers are being used to just continue to build up control and build up power and to build up control of your life. We need to remain a free country, and we need to fight for it. You need to fight for it. You need to continue to speak up for it, and I will continue to do the same. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Eric O'Shea Show. It means so much to me that you stop by to listen to what's going on. I think these two stories really kind of hit home for me about what's going on because, again, the media is so focused on Afghanistan. There are other things going down right now, like the infrastructure bill, as we continue to spend more money in inflation in a time where companies are struggling to hire, companies that were taken away due to COVID and the restrictions are no longer businesses. There are so many economic impacts, and as typical politicians see that as a perfect time to push down their agenda. Because why? Because when you're fearful of your life, you look to things for the answer. You're scared out of your mind for what's going on in the world, so you look for things. And if you don't have God, you look to the politicians. You look toward human leadership. And that's what you're seeing right now. That's why you see more and more people that are just want to be told what to do because they're so fearful of their lives. As long as somebody else telling you what to do, you feel like I no longer have pressure to think for myself. And that's where we're at. So, whoop-de-frickin-do. God, COVID's here forever. As the Oregon governor just announced mask mandates for people outside when you can't social distance, whatever that means. I guess if you're on a walkway and there's 100 people on the walkway, you must wear a mask. You can't social distance. You're too close. COVID's here to stay. Unless you continue to say no. I will not do what you want me to do. I will do what I want to do, and I do what's best for me and my family and for my health. If that's taking the vaccine, take the vaccine. If that's putting a mask on, put a mask on. But encouraging and going down the road of wanting more of this corporate oligarchy, this corporate kingdomship where you're like, allow them to dictate what to do, and you forget that who has the power? It's you. It's the worker. Because then if no one shows up to work, it's just like I see that in New Orleans, the Saints are reducing their game price tickets so much so because they're forcing only vaccinated people in the audience. You have the power. You think the Saints are just going to continue down this, or they're not fighting against some of the powers that be about saying, we're losing money hand over fist, and what are you doing? You're going to make us go bankrupt. You're going to make us lose our football team. You have the power. And your power is especially in your pocketbooks. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Derek O'Shea Show. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I freaking love you. Please share this show with all your friends and family. Share it on all social media platforms. It would mean so much to me if you do so. It's just like giving me $1. It just helps me out, helps me grow, helps me continue to get bigger, and maybe one day make this into a full-time gig, and then we could just have fun with it. Let's get that ball rolling. I would love a live nightly show, and all kinds of fun stuff. So share this with your friends and family. Tell them about the Derek O'Shea Show. Tell them about me. Again, my political stance is that I try to be as logical and thinker as I possibly can, and I'm open to all ideas. I don't just shut down everybody's idea just because it's a different tribal or political affiliation. That's not who I am. And I know people try to scapegoat me or just put me in obvious boxes because of what I look like or because I speak out against people like Andrew Cuomo. That's not me. So don't put me in a box, because the minute you put me in a box is the minute I'll break it. Have a great day. I hope you find a way to enjoy your week. And hopefully I get some more podcast episodes coming out. I love you. Have a great day. And as always, I'll see you on the next episode of The Derek O'Shea Show.